Shevuot Daf around 13 lines down. Amar lehu Rava bar Itis. The last thing we mentioned was that a person who was warned not to swear falsely and he's convicted, he would get malkut instead of a korban. Now we're going to say it's not so simple. Maybe it's mahloket. How do we know that a person does not bring a korban if he did it on purpose? Rabbi Shimon, according to Hachamim, however, korban might he brings also a korban. That's not a proof. Tana the like Leper Baita. Another Baita learns it as follows. Someone does a swearing falsely on purpose or by mistake. Asham bekesef shekalim. He has to bring a korban asham for 2 shekels. So, what's stringent about that? The ilu hatam in regards to swearing falsely regarding testimony. Hatat bar that korban hatat could be a sixth of a dinar, much cheaper. But over here, Hashem you need 2 full shekels of silver. So therefore, we see that you're bringing only a korban. The Gemara says, let's learn from there that you only bring a korban and not lashes at all. The Gemara says, no. Over there, he wasn't warned. But with the warning, you be chayav malkut as well. Listen, a different version. Hashma in hayvin person does not have a korban for swearing falsely by mistake. Mahen Hashayim Zunab, what you have doing on purpose, Hashem because it's going 2 silvers. My lab maybe it's still a case of warning, and therefore only korban and not malkut. Versus Hachadnami also heard law to no warning, and therefore if you were warned, you would get malkut. Tashma, Lo Mamarti benazir tameh. If you said regarding a nazir who became tameh on purpose. Sounds like you're talking a case where they warned him not to become tameh, and he became tameh, but Kamar, and still we said over there. Tamar, sorry, skip line. Shekin look at it. He gets malkut for doing it on purpose. Tamar b'shvat they're going to bring proof from someone who takes a swear by mistake, who swears falsely regarding a deposit. Shekin look doesn't get malkut. The Gemara says no. Kamar look since we said over there, Nazir becomes tameh, he gets malkut. Mechad atrube sounds like he was warned not to do it. The Kamar, and still we see Tamar b'shvat shekin look. We compared it, the parallel case, the case of deposit, swearing that you don't get malkut. About korban, but you do bring a korban. Gemara says not a proof. Who says when we say he doesn't get malkut by the swearing, they don't niftar malkut. He's not patur from getting malkut, meaning he also has to bring a korban, but it could be he also getting malkut, not a proof. Gemara says Michal, I mean to tell you the nazir tamin niftar malkut. The parallel case of nazir, if he became tamei on purpose, he doesn't get malkut. How korban malkutive? But we know that he does bring a korban and he gets malkut. The Gemara says no. Hatam by a nazir, the mighty korban once he brings a korban, that is because he's restarting his zirut. It has nothing to do with kapara. So maybe a nazir becomes tamei on purpose, has to get malkut, but the korban is not related to the kapara. Okay. Amruk Rabban committed about it. Rabban mentioned what Rabbi Kahana said to Rabba. Amar Lahu, and he answered them. I was warned not to swear falsely, but at the positive Michal, it sounds like over here, you can learn from it if they did not warn him, but there were witnesses telling him to do it. To bring a korban. But why? If witnesses go against what he's saying, he's just denying what happened in the case. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily with the actual case of the deposit. Person denies after swearing falsely on regarding money obligation that witnesses testified on. The Gemara says, I'll bring a proof for you. Regarding the deposit, the pasuk says he denied it. This excludes the case where someone admitted he owed money to one of his brothers that they shared the inheritance with, but he shares like, oh, the inherited. Reuven agrees that he shares money with Shimon, but denies that Levi, the third brother, owns. Or there's 3 partners. Reuven says that he owes money to Shimon, but not the third partner, Levi. Vinishba ala sheker, and he swears falsely. That excludes the case where someone borrowed money with a document. Or someone borrowed money with witnesses. We see from here, the second part of the Baraita, rather, that when witnesses know about this false Shevuah, he's chayav from a korban. The Gemara says, Amar says, Imi Shumha lot send it's not proof from there. To Omar Leviti, because the guy said yes, I borrowed money, but Leviti I didn't borrow from Edim. Leviti he said I borrowed money, but Leviti I didn't borrow his document. So in that case, he didn't deny the whole thing. He's just lying about the circumstances around it. He's lying about the Edim or the document, but he admitted that he owes the money. But if he denied the money and everything, he would be chayav korban. Gemara says, Mimai, who says that's correct? Meantime, the Berta says, Viki Heshba, he denied, excluding the cases of a guy who with the brothers or the partners. What's the case of the brother? If he wants to say he admits to the first brother regarding half the money, but he doesn't want any half the money to the other brother, he's still denying it. Ella must be brought to my case. The Amr that they told him, you borrow money from both of us. Amr Lahu, and he said, La I borrowed this same amount of money from one of you, right? So it wasn't $1 million, 500 and 500. He said, no, it was $1 million only from one of you. That's denying facts about the case, but not denying about the money. Just like the first case, denial of some random fact, so to the second case as well, and it's not a proof for the ba. Okay, Tashma. We say regarding a guy who swears falsely regarding the deposit, he's not chayav if he did it by mistake. Has to know what he chayav if he did it on purpose. Hashem bekesef shalim, the korban Hashem worth at least 2 silver shekels. My love is donas edim sounds like edim. Doesn't sound like doesn't. So it sounds like that when if you did it on purpose, that's when he's chayav. Even when the guy knows the guy is lying. Gemara says la. Don't ask what he knows he did it on purpose. When he's doing it on purpose falsely, but not when the edim knows. Okay, Tashma. Hayu shtei and the 2 set of witnesses. Kafarabah Yishna Barchak Tira Hashina Shtein Hayavot. Our Mishnah earlier said that if there was 2 set of witnesses, that the first set denied and the second set denied afterward, they're both chayav because they could have been established with either group. The Mishnah we has before. Makes sense why the second one's chayav because the first one already denied it. How come the first one's chayav? The second one was still there. So therefore, we see from here that just like the first group is chayav, because we looked at it separately, so the second group is chayav, and therefore we try to bring it to our case as well. Just because the guy denied it, we don't care about the fact that the witnesses didn't know about it. It should be chayav korban. Question again to the Gemara says no. Earlier. We could say the same. We said it like before. The second witness is chayav. The first witness is chayav because they were related at the time. The second witnesses were related at the time of the loan, and therefore they were ineligible. That's why the first group is chayav. The one is understand because so in a case obviously where the women are dying. Otherwise, they would obviously be chayav. If they're dead already, then they'll be chayav. It's not related. Therefore, what the chidush is, you might think that since they're dying, they be considered dead already at Kumash, and therefore they're still alive, and therefore they were not eligible to testify. Tashma, a guy who claimed that the item that he was watching was stolen, he swore that it was stolen, then he admitted that he actually took it for himself. Witnesses came and testified the same thing. If he admitted before the witnesses came, is to pay the amount of money that he stole, plus 20% fee, and bring a korban for lying. If he confessed after the witnesses came, is to pay double and the korban Hashem. Because once the witnesses came, it's over. You can't, I confess. Well, we don't need you to confess. The witness already testified to you. So we see from here, however, that a guy who swears falsely, regarding a deposit will be chayav korban Hashem, even if these witnesses know that it was lying. The Gemara says, no, same concept as before. The witnesses weren't able to testify because they were related at the time. The swearing of a deposit is more chamor than testimony. Because if you did on purpose, by mistake, you're chayav korban Hashem 2 shekels. The Gemara says, okay, it's not that says you're chayav makut, which means. Again, so he says that from the fact that he said chayav on purpose, this is malkut, and if you do by mistake, he's chayav korban shekalim. We said from there, I mean, the Gamma look at that said chayav malkut, it's like you have witnesses testify that. The Kamar, and yet we still say al shirata Hashem bekesef you did by mistake, you're chayav just the korban Hashem, even when there's witnesses testifying against him. Proof. Kamar said not proof. He says that case doesn't count. Because Rav Kahana told Chachamim, I taught this Breita, I taught as follows, that is chayav the same korban whether or not I did on purpose or mistake. And therefore, because they mentioned Malkut, who says we're talking about witnesses at all? Okay. One more shot at Rabah. Let's see. Tashma. If you mention the case of a Tamei Nazir, how can you compare the same halacha applies by a deposit swearing. Shana look, he doesn't get makut. The Gemara says, hey, then what's the case? Eid like there was no witnesses in the Nazir. Am I okay? Why do they get makut? Ela, Pshita the Igadim must be there are witnesses. But I mean, yet we still say to Mar Bishvat Gedolim. We compared it to the case of the deposits. Shana look, he doesn't get makut. Milka who's lucky. He only brings the korban. Even if the witnesses knew he lied, Gemara says no. And then for Gemara says actually true. They agreed. The last knockout is a correct knockout of Rabban. Rabban says, if someone denies money that witnesses know about, chayav to be a korban for a falsely line. Pashtar, they have a document, patur from a korban. Why is that the case? Because witnesses, since they could die, therefore, if he denies it, it's more powerful because the witnesses die and he swears falsely, his denial can last longer or permanent. But documents there, and therefore it's not as risky from the deny it. The Gemara says, okay, you can lose the document as well. The Gemara says, the reason is as follows. Because a document has a lien on the property of the man. The end of the in korban, you don't bring a korban with a lien that has on land, only on movable objects, which is a loan that's verbal with edim. That's why only edim. Okay, itamar. If there was a case where the guy said, "I want you to swear regarding this land," whether or not what their chayav korban denied. Now we see from here it's the end of Yochanan and Patur. We can prove from here that Yochanan one is the one that was Patur. Why? So that Braita seemingly said, "So machlok between Yochanan and Lazar. We don't know who holds what. One says I have one to Patur." We're saying, okay, easy. Let's prove Yochanan one Patur. We Yochanan hakavir b'manan shishla dimitch chayav shtar Patur. We explained it that it's talking about a case of land. So we see Yochanan would say the reason why Patur is talking about land. Where it says TMS, correct proof. Yochanan says Patur because it's talking about land. Okay. Amar le Rabbi Meir le Rabbi Lema Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Lazar Deputer Rabbi Elazar Rabbanan come together. Let's say the machlok between Rabbi Yochanan and Lazar, the same machlok is Rabbi Elazar and Chachamim. Tran. Hagozas de B'mechadro. Someone steals a field from his friend. Ushta hafa nahar. Then the river flooded it. Chayav Amidot today has to repay with a different field. David Elazar. Chachamim say no. Amar lo, you can tell the owner. Haresh l'chalafeneha. This is your field. Take it back. Good luck. Take it back as is. Amrinan we say, it's machlor over there. Rabbi Elazar derish ribuy mi'uti. Rabbanan derish klal prati. Rabbi Elazar holds ribuy and mi'ut, and Hachamim hold klal prat. You thought we were done with this. How? Here we go. Rabbi Elazar derish ribuy mi'ut. Rabbi Elazar holds inclusions and exclusions, and therefore, the guy who denies the case. Riba, that sounds like anything can be stolen, and he denies anything. Bibikadon obisumadiyad in the pasuk specified, excluded, only limiting items to the deposit or loan. Then at the end of the pasuk says anything else that you could deny swearing falsely. Then again included. You have inclusion, exclusion, and inclusion, exclusion, and inclusion. You include everything. What did it include? Merely anything that's stolen. My was excluded. Documents which are not included, are not like anything else mentioned in the pasuk. Rabbanan have general and specific way of learning Torah. Therefore, vacation when we tell the guy who denies his friend, but klal, general. Deposit, loan, stolen item, prat, the Torah specifies over here certain items. Then Torah specifies, it generalizes again, saying generally anything else. You have a general specification and then general. Yes, then only you can include things that are similar to the specification. Just like Torah specified items that are movable and have value. Of course, so to anything else, the Bam are also movable and have money. That's Ukar that excludes land, because it's not movable. It's all then that excludes slaves, which are considered like legally like land. That's Sharot and also excludes documents, even they're movable, and Gufamon, they don't actually have value. So according to the opinion holds that your chayav regarding swearing in land could be Lezer, holds like Lezer. Patur would hold like Rabbanan, it's not a proof. Maybe yes, he holds the one chayav regarding land, sounds like Lezer. But the guy who holds the patur regarding land, only here he would say your patur regarding land. I feel but regarding swearing land, your patur. But over here, he would agree that you're not chayav a korban because the Torah said anything you deny. Below hakol, not simply anything, it said from anything. Therefore, from the fact that it said from anything, you can maybe exclude even a deposit that was denied, which is land. And therefore, Rabbi Eliezer would hold that if you deny land without a loss, sorry, you don't bring a korban for the testimony. Okay. Amar Papa Ben Shvita Rav Mati Dinam Dega bring proof from Mishnah. Tani the Ganafta shorty. Someone says he stole my ox, but who? Omer he says look at the hand still. But we never you swear. Amar Hani he says yes. Chayav chayav. We look after that Abdi looked at him. Mention the case of a slave. My time why? Lav Mishum the Eved Tish like Rob. And even korban kifrat Shvita Krod because slave is like land, and we know land is you don't bring a korban. Proof coin reaction. The rest is a marav for people mishmud rava. Ema sefer. The next part of Mishnah says the cloud. The rule is kol mishnem apiatzmo. Whoever pays money by what he admits. Chayav is chayav. She'enu mishnem zo. Whatever he's not chayav for what he admits. Patur from a korban. The cloud. What's that including? This is the rule. What is when we say that in Mishnah? Oh, this is the rule. What is that including? So lavda to you gnate lavdi. Since seemingly includes a case where you stole my slave, you'd be chayav, not patur. Question against Yochanan. The Gemara says no. We can't bring a proof from Mishnah to say either way. Okay. Shevuot Daf. What's the case of a guy who swears regarding a deposit? Mentioned if the guy says, "Give me the item that you have in your possession," and we mentioned the case if he says 5 different things, denied 5 different times, etc. Tanabram, Kalel. Sorry, if the guy included all the items in the same denial, one shot. Eno chayav echad is chayav once. Prat chayav akol chayav. We specified each one separately. So chayav for each one. Rabbi says Shevuot lo lecha lo lecha lo lecha. The guy said, "I swear I don't owe you to you to you to you to you." Chayav akol echad chayav for each one. Rabbi says lo lecha lo lecha lo lecha Shevuot. He has to say the opposite. I don't not to you, not to you, not to you, not to you. I swear. Chayav akol echad. That means chayav for each one. Rabbi Shimon for each one says Ad shemar Shevuot lekol echad ve'echad. He has to be the most stringent. He says, I swear on a money to you, I swear on a money to you, I swear on a money to you. Okay. Mar Vidar Shmuel. The main point of Meir is Pratosh Rabbi is the same thing as Rabbi's separate Shevuot, which means Pratosh Rabbi and Rabbi's general halachav of swearing is like similar to the separate halachav of Meir. Right, so what that means just now is the fact that Meir says that not to you in the case of the Mishnah is the case of Rabbi's example of everything included. And Rabbi's way of saying everything included, not to you, is the same thing as Meir saying separate. Right? So they have different ways of looking at what they define each case as. Yochanan says, everybody agrees. He says, and not to you, that's separating each one. Where's the machloket? The guy just says not to you without saying the vav and. Rabbi holds that's separate. Chayav each one. No, that's considered one long one, and you're chayav once. What's considered a general swear for Meir? I swear none of you have money by me. We'll stop here.